करो, वी आर लाइव नाउ, चेक करो।
लिंक
भेजी हुई है ग्रुप पे ही। हाँ चल रहा है।
अभी नहीं। यूट्यूब लिंक कहाँ पे?
अरे लिंक कहाँ भेजी? लिंक ही नहीं भेजी है।
अभी
भेजी
आया,
है।
साइन अप इज लाइव मेल आया।
चल रहा है, चल रहा है।
चल रहा है।
अरे लिंक कहाँ भेजी? लिंक ही नहीं भेजी है।
अभी आया, साइन अप इज लाइव चल रहा है।
Okay, I'll come in a minute.
ओके। हेलो सर।
Hi, Satya.
Hi sir, how are you?
All good, all good. How are you all?
I'm
That is
good,
also
sir.
there.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Dharre. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
I'll be meeting you for the first time.
Yes, of course. Me too. I'll be also meeting you for the first
Right.
time.
Yeah.
I think me and sir was in some kind of interactive session during COVID time.
Yes.
I think
it was science to it.
Yeah, science. What was her name? Rai. Anshita Rai was there.
Anshita was, yeah.
हाँ.
Great,
Some
great.
कोविड में तो बहुत एक्टिव हो गए थे सब।
3-4 years back.
Yeah.
3-4 years back.
The science communication was a boom in 2020 and 21.
Exactly.
And then after that, everyone suddenly stopped doing everything. And then there was it was, no, because our community also faced the same. Like initially we had a very big team and very, very, very good. And then after
Right.
2021, like nobody turned up for anything.
Okay.
And then we again restarted it. But now this time probably we are planning for also funding. So we will also need the help of
great.
some experts because we want to
Right.
take this initiative ahead, and like our team also needs resources to fulfill
Exactly.
the requirement.
So why don't you try for that grant given by India Bioscience?
Yes, we are going to try that only for now, and like we are also getting good registrations. Like our average registration number is around 80 always.
Oh.
So I was recently talking to Manasvi. She is right now in. So they, I mean, many of them told me that like you guys are doing far more better, and you guys should definitely apply for India Bioscience grant.
Right. So Manasvi is also attached with this.
Yes, she is also. I mean,
Oh.
she was with us since 2020. Yeah, around.
Okay.
So she also hosted many events with us, and yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think the time is already running. I will just come. Actually, it's 6 in the morning here, so I just woke up.
Oh. Dara, sorry, where are you right now?
So I'm in Germany. I'm in University of Freiburg. I'm doing my PhD here.
Great.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, so
Wow.
I'm in Germany, and like there is time difference. I mean, we have other people as well in the team who are taking care of technical things, but right now, सबका internship चल रहा है.
Exactly.
Summer internship. So everybody is busy. So like we are the ones who are like who can take care of everything. So for now we are, and then everyone would be again back.
Right.
Okay. I think Satyat and Bhakti, you guys can start, and then I think I will just join in like 5 minutes. Yeah.
And we are live also.
Yeah, and we are already live, so I think yes, we should start. Okay, Satyat, good luck.
Okay. So I formally welcome you, sir, again. in our SciComm Synapse initiative.
Thank you, Satya.
So I would like to ask Bhakti to give a small introduction about sir. So Bhakti.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Let me quickly introduce you all to our today's speaker, Dr. Ashwini Kumar, one of the luminaries in their field with a profound dedication and relentless knowledge. In 2008, he completed his BTech in biotechnology from Amity University. In 2010, he completed his MTech in biotechnology from NIT Rourkela. In 2020, he completed his PhD from NIT Raipur, where his research focused on the fabrication of biopolymeric mucoadhesive non-invasive drug discovery systems. His work experiences as follows. In 2010, he worked as a clinical trial assistant at Max Niemann International. In 2012, he worked as a project assistant at NIT Rourkela. From 2012 to 2014, he worked as a lecturer at NIT Raipur. In 2020, he worked as a research associate at IIT Delhi. In 2021, he worked as an assistant professor at IMS Engineering College. From 2021 to 24, he worked as assistant professor at NIIT University, and currently he is working as an assistant professor at Sharda University. His areas of expertise are biomaterials, drug delivery, diabetes, drug discovery, and molecular docking. He also appreciates the importance of science communication and actively motivates people to pursue career in science and research. He is a talented, dynamic, and diligent person, showing excellence in every sphere of knowledge. So, with this warm welcome, I now request to proceed further in the evening. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much,
you.
Bhakti. That was too generous.
So, sir, my first question would be like, what sparked you to choose science? If you could take us back to previous background of yours and how it led
Okay.
you to pursue research.
Right. So, how back should I go?
From schooling.
From schooling. So, okay. I don't know exactly, but the first and only thing that I always wanted to become was a medical doctor. Maybe that was the reason was that I saw uh, my grandfather and grandmother suffering from certain diseases, which and I back 35 years back, it was a very common scenario that family physicians were visiting home to treat patients, and watching that very regularly, that doctors were coming home to treat my grandfather and grandmother, and there were a lot of different conditions. So that motivated me, and that actually fascinated me. Ki, what kind of work is this to uh, to relieve the people from their problems? And that was the only kick that I got that time. I don't exactly remember the time, but maybe I was 3 or 4 years back, as my family says this, and that continued forever. Like, before I got admitted to BTech Biotechnology in 2004. So right from 1985 to say 2004, almost, that was the only thing that I wanted to be. I didn't have any plan B. Uh, though there are pros and cons of having plan B, obviously, but now I realize there should be a plan B with everyone. But it's okay, because that was biggest motivation for me to pursue something like that. Uh, so I I went with that motive in my mind. Uh, I completed my 12th in 2003. I appeared for, okay, that time there was no NEET. So every medical college had its own examination, entrance examination. I remember, and I'm confident about this because there is a list. In 2003,
PMT was there.
PMT was there.
CPMT.
CPMT was there for UP state. So similarly, every state has their own entrance exam, and like AIMS and FMC, they had their initial exams. So in 2003, just as a fresher, I appeared for 13 different medical examinations, and in 2004, having 1 year drop, I appeared for 12. So in 2 years, I appeared for 25 medical entrance examinations, even for the colleges that had only 4 seats at
Okay.
that time. So, yeah, I know the reason why I couldn't get through. My physics was not very good, and physics is one of the deciding factors when you appear for medical entrance examination. Because if you are really motivated for doing MBBS, biology is a strong part, and that's obvious. Uh, uh, okay, after trying for 2 years, I was in Delhi. I was in coaching, and one of my friends suggested that why don't you try a new program coming up in Amity University. Amity was very new that time. I was the second batch in 2004. So I was in Delhi. I just went to Noida, their headquarters, uh, and I asked them about this BTech Biotechnology program. Uh, the only motivation again for filling up the form for BTech Biotechnology was there was bio in that, because
Okay.
I was not interested in technology part. Uh, never tried to be an engineer in that sense. So just because of the word biology, I filled up the form. In fact, that is also a very interesting story. Amity that time asked for 3 preferences for undergraduate program, and my first
Okay.
preference was clinical psychology, second was psychology, and third was biotechnology, and I got the third one. Yeah, so that was 2004. I got admission in BTech Biotechnology. Um, in 2003, I also left Delhi University. I was selected for 3 programs again: BSc Zoology, BSc History, and BSc Psychology. I left Delhi University that time again to prepare for MBBS. But that is one of the things that I still have in my mind why I left Delhi University. But Amity had extremely good syllabus and the teachers back then, and it was extremely good 4 years. I learned a lot, but didn't have the clarity what to do after my BTech, because that was never in my mind. While I was in third year, and so I can still say the syllabus that we had back 20 years back, I can't see that kind of syllabus in many of the universities even today. Uh, I can say that there were a lot of subjects for which we had 2 or 3 teachers for single subject. It was so specific back then. These things again triggered when I was in third year, looking forward to what to do with biotechnology. And because we had a lot of basic biology subjects, that triggered our interest that this is one thing through which I can still be connected to my old passion of medicine. And then I started looking for what is the way ahead. Um, Back then, internet was a luxury, and gate used to have in fact all entrance examination used to have a prospectus, hard copy prospectus and form. So somehow I got the gate prospectus of previous year, and just to learn what gate examination is and what we can do with that, I took almost 7 to 10 days to read, go through that prospectus and understand what is that. Then I made up my mind to appear for gate. I qualified GATE in 2008, and I got admission to NIT Rourkela in Department of Biotechnology and Medical Engineering. And that was a turning point for me. Now, should I continue with this story or?
Sure, sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Because normally I keep discussing these things as a story part in my
Yeah.
classes, but it's rarely someone asks this question. So my MTech supervisor and me both joined NIT Rourkela on the same day. He joined as a faculty member, and I joined as an MTech scholar. And fortunately, he was a MBBS MTech. So because he was a clinical doctor, he had a different viewpoint for diseases. And me as a basic science student, I had different aspects viewpoint. And I just started disturbing him and bothering him that I have to do the second year project with him. And he was very generous. He was not bothered with that. He used to take classes at 7 a.m. in the morning also. So that was the first year. I kept asking about various things and about the projects that were possible at that point of time in Rockilla. And I got selected to work with him. I was his first MTech student. Uh, for my MTech research, I worked on obesity. I checked for some uh, flavonoids that could inhibit the lipid generation inside adipocytes. So I learned a lot of skills with his supervision. After my MTech, uh, I just for the sake of having an experience in job, I joined Max Niemann organization. And though currently Max Niemann is had acquired by some other company, it was a subsidiary of Max Hospitals, the Max Group.
Okay.
Max Niemann dealt with clinical trials, so it was a CRO, contract research organization. So CRO are there are a lot of CROs. CROs they are basically the mediator between the pharma company and the hospitals. So they do the complete paperwork and complete management of the trials, clinical trials going on in the hospitals. So I joined Max Niemann in September 2010 as a clinical trial assistant, and I was part of the group that was looking after a project from I don't exactly remember the country. I think it was Switzerland. There was a pharma company who was developing. I won't tell the formulation, the drug, and the trial was running in 17 different sites in India. So I was a part of that. But because science was so deeply there in my mind, and that was complete documentation work. I somehow lost my interest in that, and after a few months, I left that. Again, started preparing for PhD. Uh, there was a hiatus of around 1.2 years. After I left my job at Max Niemann, I was unemployed for till 2011 December. That was both a good and a bad phase. I was preparing for PhD. I appeared for everything. I qualified NET twice. I couldn't qualify DBT, ICMR. That was ASI NET. I appeared for almost all the PhD examination. Those that were not in a clash. So, back then, many many of the examinations had date clashes. So that was okay. But till 2011, after I left my job, I studied hard for my PhD. In 2012 January, I again joined NIT Rourkela with my supervisor as a project assistant in a tissue engineering project on a bone tissue engineering, bone and ligament tissue engineering. I was there for 6 months, and there was a vacancy rollout at NIT Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Rourkela and Raipur was very close. I went for that. I paid for the interview and got selected within a week. The result came out within a week. So I left my job as a project assistant and joined NIT Raipur as a lecturer. And I served there in NIT Raipur for 2 years, from 2012 to 14. Again, there was turning point in 2013. My PhD supervisor joined NIT Raipur as a full-time faculty. I was there as an ad hoc.
Okay.
And we were colleagues for 1 year. And because I was trying for PhD, I was even selected for IIT Hyderabad in a tissue engineering with a supervisor whose specialization was tissue engineering and biomaterials. But because of certain family reasons, I was not able to join IIT Hyderabad back in 2013. Once me and my supervisor were returning from a tea, and he asked me about the status of my PhD applications. I just mentioned that, and he told that if you don't have any problem, you can join PhD with me. So if an offer is coming right from front, why to ignore that? So I asked him what should be the procedure, and he said you will have to resign from this post and will have to work as a full-time scholar. So I told okay. I resigned from the lecturer position in May 2014. I joined my PhD in August 2014, and I was awarded in January 2020. So that was around 5.5 years. from 2020, after my defense, I joined IIT Delhi as a research associate. In 2021, I joined IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad, as an assistant
Okay.
professor. Just after 7 months, I got a call from NIIT University Neemrana, Rajasthan.
Okay.
So Neemrana is a place just midway between Delhi to Jaipur. I joined NIIT University in January 2022. I served there as an assistant professor for 2 years. It was a marvelous 2 years period, I must say. And uh, but somehow I was not able to shift my family over there. I'm based in Noida, so I was looking to come back here. And in February 2024, just a few months back,
Yeah.
I joined Shada University as an assistant professor in Department of Life Sciences. So that's how the journey took me
Yeah.
from an aspiration to be a medical doctor to from medical doctor to a scientist. That's all.
It's a journey of perseverance. I can see that.
Yes.
And as you said, sir, as a student after 12th, we don't know actually what is research. We just know
Exactly.
engineering and doctor.
Exactly.
And me myself got interested in research and all in third year of BS. So I think that's where these science communication and these initiatives will help
Very important.
of students of these days to pursue their research in science.
And you can understand 20 years back, the term biotechnology was very new. Hardly anyone knew about that. Uh, there were a few programs in India, in some of the IITs. There was a BTech program in Anna University, but biotechnology was still very new.
And people were
And-
skeptical also to choose that new field
Exactly,
in that time.
exactly. You won't believe when we were asked by a university that internship is one of the components, though it was not mandatory at that time. We were also completely unknown about what internship is. And I think if there is anyone among participant who is my age, I think he or she can agree that back then it was very difficult to talk freely with the teachers. It was very difficult, in fact. So to approach teachers for internship, like what it is, just to make us understand, it was very, very difficult to approach them. Uh, because I was in Delhi, I knew of a lot of pathological labs, like if I can just name Dr. Lal, SRL back then. Uh, I just printed all my details in a single sheet of paper and I called that as a CV. And I just roamed across Delhi NCR. I even went to Dr. Lal and SRL, and I asked them that there is an internship component in my curriculum. I just want to do that. They asked me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know anything. Whatever you let me do, I'll do that." Because internship was such a new thing back then. But fortunately, in my 4 years BTech, I didn't go to home. So I'm basically from Patna, Bihar. Uh, and in my 4 years, I only went back to my parents only twice. In all the summer vacations, I utilized that time to do internship. So my first internship was in Mata Chanan Devi Hospital, Janakpur in New Delhi. That was in pathology department. The second one was in Dabur Pharmaceuticals. It was a market research internship. And the third one was in Ranbaxy. So Ranbaxy back then was the biggest pharma company in India.
Yes.
It got acquired in 2008 itself, just after I left my internship. So that they had their labs in Gurgaon. So because biotechnology was so new, I thought these vacations or internship period will be something where I can learn something new. So all these three internships were from different domains, completely different domains. But I learned a lot. I can say that. So yeah.
So moving further, sir, could you please tell us that were there any heroic moments during your PhD or pivotal moments during your PhD, and some pivotal mentors also who shaped your career in tissue engineering?
Um,
Could tell us.
okay. So my MTech was so the department where I did my MTech it was the Department of Biotechnology and Medical Engineering. So we were uh, studying both biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So it was a very unique combination. So there were a lot of subjects that were common. Biomaterials, tissue engineering were uh, some of those subjects which were common. So after my MTech, I had a brief hint of what biomaterials are and what is tissue engineering. When I joined my PhD, but my MTech research was on obesity. It was complete endocrinology. And when you study about obesity, you can't leave diabetes because they are very closely related. Though all the diabetic people are not obese, but if you are obese, there are good chances that somehow you will develop insulin resistance and diabetes later on. So, and because I'd seen my close relatives uh, having multi-organ failure because of diabetes. So diabetes was one thing which I was extremely interested about. And one reason there is so much of gap between my MTech and PhD is that I was very adamant about doing my PhD in diabetes.
Okay.
So I was not looking for any faculty member who had some other interest. So when I started my PhD in 14, my supervisor is extremely helpful, and he gave me a free hand. That what he's completely from molecular biology background, nothing related to biomaterials, and he gave me a free hand. Whatever I want to do, I can propose that, and he would help me with that. So for first, I think 9 or 10 months, I was doing a lot of literature survey on diabetes. I haven't got a project proposal ready, but after it was ready, I think it was 2014. Uh, my department was not very well equipped with core molecular biology setup back then. Uh, we had a tie-up with the state medical college for that purpose, but somehow we realized that it was almost 90-95% of the work to be done at medical college laboratory. So we decided it's not good. It would look like just a registration at NIT Raipur and doing all the work there. And then we decided why not to shift something which can be done at NIT Raipur itself. And I don't know how, because I still don't have any idea how I clicked onto biomaterials and drug delivery. But because molecular biology was not possible at that time, core molecular biology, I had to look for something which was possible. And because I was there for last 2 years serving as a faculty, so I knew of the facilities that were available in different departments. And I realized that if I start something on biomaterials, see, broadly, if you work with biomaterials, there either you work with tissue engineering or drug delivery systems, because the base of both is a material, a biomaterial, and half of the work is related to characterization, whether it's a physical, mechanical, or chemical characterization. And I realized that I have almost all those instruments in all the different departments, even not in mine, but they were present in different departments, like in chemical engineering or material science. Then me and my supervisor discussed about this thing, and I don't know, because I was interested in diabetes, I thought drug delivery can be one area where I can formulate something to deliver anti-diabetic drugs in a much better way.
Okay.
Maybe that could be a reason that I didn't go towards tissue engineering. I went towards drug delivery, and that is how we. So after spending almost 9 to 10 months in diabetes, I started working on biomaterials. So it was a complete shift from one domain to another. And my supervisor was, and still he's extremely helpful. So and uh, because he was not of that area, he was not related to biomaterials. Uh, the the complete work was formulated by me, and he started studying biomaterials and drug delivery just to have a discussion with me. He was so helpful. And by the time I finished my work, uh, he also there were a lot of my juniors who started working on biomaterials drug delivery. So that was one of the area that was developed when I started my work. in my lab. Yeah.
Okay. So I was listening to you since
Yeah.
the start. It was really interesting that how did you do your PhD. So like of course it's, as you mentioned, like there were different facilities in the different departments. So
Yes.
like how you used to manage your time, and like what challenges did you face, like what was that challenge, you have to run here and there, and like
Yes.
and how did you overcome like those challenges?
Okay. So there are two aspects, I think. Mm, I hope like we all have met through Twitter, right? And we talk a lot about work-life balance, at least in last 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And I was married before I joined my PhD,
Mm-hmm.
so it's almost 12 years now. So when I joined PhD, I knew I I will have to manage a lot of time in my lab and in
Mm-hmm.
my home,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I was clear about that. So somehow I tried to manage all my work between 9 to 6. I was one of the
Mm-hmm.
first scholar to reach the lab, and yeah, and I don't know how would the participants perceive this, but I hardly remained in lab in nights.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a very common culture in research labs, but I didn't do that. I managed all my time between 9 to 6, uh, just to devote my time at my home also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the second aspect is because I knew all the faculty members there at NIT Raipur. Uh, they were my colleague at one point of time. So I particularly personally didn't face that problem of asking for help with anyone. So that was a good part, or a benefit that was associated. Um, that was about the infrastructure present in my institution. Uh, the last part of my work, PhD work, was on animal. Was an animal trial, not exactly trial. It was just a bit of animal experimentation, just to check whether my formulation is actually delivering the drug to the blood circulation. So for that animal experiment part, I collaborated with one of the pharmacy colleges in Raipur. So they have a very good animal lab facility. So and again, I could approach them because just 2 years back, I presented my work in one of the conferences that was organized by that particular pharmacy college. So through that event, I came in contact with the faculty members there. And when I realized that, or when I formulated this particular animal work, I approached them and they were ready to help me out. So it was, I would say personally, it was easy. It was not that difficult to outsource the things. Yeah.
I see.
Even I recently read a tweet in which that person saying that Gen Z are not ruining the work-life culture. They are restoring back the work-life balance, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, sir, I just want to ask you one more question. Since you mentioned
Yes.
you were already married, so how did you, like, you already mentioned about everything, that okay, how you used to do everything, but how
Correct.
I would say, how do you see that for the current people? I mean, like, of course for you as well. How do you see that, like, what is your perception regarding, because usually I have seen, like, to do a PhD and then a postdoc, it takes like 10 years approximately,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
and then the scientists start thinking, okay, now I need to get really married, maybe.
So it's obviously a personal choice. There's no formula that for this particular thing,
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
work-life balance, or better to get married before or after. It's
yeah,
always a
yeah.
personal choice, and based on certain culture, it also depends on the family and the
Hmm. Hmm.
society around you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So there are a lot of factors. Okay, if I can again share one of the stories,
Yes, please.
uh, if you allow.
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
have a lot of
definitely.
stories.
every
Okay,
every
so uh, uh, my MTech supervisor was also very supportive. and because there was a very less age gap between us, he was more like a friend to me. Uh, when I was about to get over with my MTech in my last semester, um, I was uh, I was at his home. We were having dinner together. So he just asked me about this part, whether I thought of getting married just after my MTech or what are my plans. So I was not sure at that time, and he narrated his story. As I mentioned, he's a clinical doctor. He did his MBBS, and that is also a wonderful story. Very motivational in fact. He joined NIT Rourkela when NIT used to be REC and RIT before 2002. All the NITs, now NIT is a central university. Before that, before 2002, NITs were regional engineering colleges or regional institute of technology, and they were under state government.
Okay, I see.
So it was 2001 when NIT Council was developed under MHRD, and 2002 was the first phase of converting many of the old RECs into NITs. And that was the year when CBSE started All India Entrance Exam for Engineering. That was later on merged with IIT. Yeah. So NIT Rourkela, NIT Surathkal, Trichy, Warangal, they were the first phase of NITs. So my MTech supervisor joined REC Rourkela for his BTech in material science. And he wanted to become a scientist since his childhood. And that is very unusual. I asked him, sir, who thinks like this? uh, he didn't have any answer, but he joined NIT REC Rourkela for his BTech in material science. And after again 8 to 10 months, he realized that uh, he can't be a scientist with material science. I don't know. He somehow realized that. He started preparing for MBBS while he was still in BTech. He cracked Odisha JEE. He got the best medical college in Odisha. It's SCRB in Cuttack. He joined his MBBS. After his MBBS, he served as a government doctor, I think for 2 to 3 years. And while he was serving as a government doctor, he again realized this is not what he wanted. He wanted to become a scientist. And then again, one of his friend advised that there is a very unique program at IIT Kharagpur, only for MBBS doctors. It is run by School of Medical Science and Technology, SMST, and the program is called MMST, Master of Medical Science and Technology. So normally an MTech is for 2 years, MMST is for 3 years. So 2 years, I think 2 years for coursework, and the third year is completely research. And the third year was not compulsory to be in-house. A person enrolled in MMST can go to any of the labs to have his or her 1 year research. He went to NUS Singapore, and his master's research was on bone tissue engineering. After his master's, he joined Riken Brain Institute, Japan, to work on Alzheimer's. So from bone tissue engineering to Alzheimer's, he also shifted his domain. After he joined Riken as a research scientist, he worked for around 1.5 years. He again joined NUS Singapore for his PhD, but somehow he couldn't continue with that. That was in 2007. So, and in 2007, there was a vacancy at NIT Rourkela. So he applied for that because he was a native of Odisha, and he left his PhD because of other factors over there, and he got selected at NIT Rourkela. And his PhD, so back then it was a rule that if you join any of the NITs with a MTech, you have to enroll for your PhD over there. So he had his PhD from NIT Rourkela, and his PhD was on electronic biosensor. So from bone tissue engineering to Alzheimer's to electronic biosensor, he has done all. And not only with science, he has done his master's also in pediatrics. So he's a very active clinical doctor also, and a research scientist also. So he's a person with a very wide domains. And that was also one of the motivations to pursue science.
That's true.
Yeah, being with him for 2 years was extremely motivational. Sorry. So he narrated his story that he got married when he joined his masters, just 1 month
Ah,
after. Yeah, and back then the stipend was 8,000. Yeah, I think 8,000 in MMST. In normal MTech program, it was just 5,000. In
oh,
MMST, it was 8.
because he was a doctor already.
So the thing that he told was it was his perspective and experience that uh, if you get married at that point of time, uh, your spouse will be with you during your struggle phase, during the journey, and both of you will have a kind of respect for each other.
That's true.
But when you complete your age of maybe 35 or 40, and then you decide to get married, uh, it was completely his perspective. There is,
Yeah, yeah.
again, as I said, there's no fixed rule.
No.
So that can have a different set of mindset. Uh, like, I don't know. I may not be able to put that in words, but yeah, that was a very interesting concept that he mentioned. That both of you will have your um, mutual respect for each other
Mhm.
because you both will be accompanying each other in the struggle phase in that journey. So that was
Mhm.
a very interesting thing and very beautiful thing. And though I didn't get married because of that concept, but when I when I was married, it struck me again. Yeah, this could be a beautiful thing, and my spouse helped me a lot in
Yes.
that journey. Right from 2013 till 2020 when I finished my PhD. So it was good. It was,
I think that's why only you could reach the lab early in the morning.
yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Satya?
So yeah, yeah. So sir, can you discuss any specific project you are currently working on, or you're planning to any kind of research direction to
Yes.
follow?
So currently I'm working with uh, a formulation, a non-invasive formulation.
Mhm.
Uh, Fortunately, the in vitro testing have revealed that the formulation I targeted for a resorbable formulation, and fortunately, the resorption time was less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm still working on that. It is a completely non-invasive drug delivery formulation. And the second thing I'm working on is a wound healing patch
Hmm.
Okay.
using some plant extract. So I fortunately jumped into a plant that is not studied a lot,
Mhm.
but it is being used for wound healing in traditional medicines.
I see.
Okay.
So I'm trying to identify the constituents in that so that it can be used as a conventional wound healing
Mhm.
patches. So
That's interesting.
these are the two things. Third thing I'm working is not related directly to my core specialization, but I'm working on drug discovery part where I'm trying to check antibacterial precisely effect of two plant compounds, which
Mhm.
were again mentioned a lot in traditional medicine. The plant is one of the most used plant in Ayurveda,
Okay.
but this aspect is not being revealed or
Yep.
discussed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Though the phytoconstituents are already known, they have been published,
Hmm.
but this aspect is very new.
Mhm.
So the in silico work has revealed a good binding
Mhm.
of this, and right now I'm proceeding with the molecular docking simulation.
Oh,
So let's see what
That's
happens.
that's interesting. So I still remember I had to write like a master's thesis. So when I was finishing my master's in MS University, at that time we had like credits to submit research proposal. Uh,
Right.
and I submitted that research proposal on Tinospora cardifolia.
Okay.
And what I read interestingly was on that the phytochemicals were again known, but the mode of action was not known, and that's where the gap between the present knowledge of molecular biology and medicine, where comes like we work in that domain, that we
Exactly.
try to find out that what is the mode of action, that we know the phytochemical, but what we lack in the Ayurveda for now is we don't know that how it works. And that's why
Exactly. The MOA is not no.
yes, and that's why when everybody comments that okay, when somebody else patents, somebody else or other country patents our any spice or anything, we run behind and say that hey, it belongs to us. But like you should know that okay,
Yes.
if it belongs to our country, then our scientists also should understand that, uh, including all of us. I mean that we should understand that
Exactly.
we need to find a mode of target, like how it works exactly, what is the
Exactly.
molecular.
And exactly that is all science is about.
Yes,
Science is not to compete with the nature. I believe
that's true.
science is the goal of the science should be to know the nature, to understand
Yeah,
why
Yes.
something is happening.
yeah,
And if we know why something is happening, and if it is the reason behind, for example, certain diseases, then again science gives us that power to try to treat that disease. I think that is also, if I'm getting some clue from nature, why not to go with that?
yeah,
Science gives
Yes.
us the tools to find out what is there in nature, to synthesize something new. That is another aspect, but that is
that's
all
true.
science is about. It's not to compete with the nature and to to uh,
I
to have the
understand
first
what you
rank.
are.
It's not a relay. Yeah.
I think I completely understood what you are trying to frame in.
And we have got a lot of examples,
That's true. That's
uh,
true.
Yes.
how nature has helped, because yeah, because when we talk about ecosystem, we are also a part of the natural ecosystem. we, are,
Yeah,
we have not been
yeah,
downloaded. We
yeah.
are also a
Yes.
part of ecosystem.
Even
That's
in
true.
sir, in IGIB also there is this new division of iogenomics. It is very new.
Yes, yes, yes.
So people are
Professor
working, but
Mitali
still we
Mukherjee was
need.
working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because I think also
Yes.
in NCBS there is a professor who works with wound healing. I think Professor Colin Jamora. He is working
Okay.
on the he is working on wound healing, because when I was looking for my internships, I was looking for majority of the professors.
There are a lot of people actually. Professor Praveen Vemula from INSTEM
Yes,
Bangalore. He works a
Praveen
lot with
Vemla.
all kind of aspects of biomaterials. Yes.
Yes, that's true.
So,
I think one of my friend he worked in Praveen Memola's lab. So far I
okay.
remember.
And again, I do believe that being a scientist, we have to be unbiased completely,
Yeah, that's true.
because it's our responsibility to find out something, being a
Yeah,
scientist,
yeah.
and to actually find out that, because you mentioned about mechanism of action. So, if we really want to find a MOA, we have to be unbiased. And that is a
True.
concept called confirmation bias.
Certainly.
So, in research, we should be away from this confirmation bias.
That's true.
So, sir, what do you consider to be the biggest challenges and opportunities in drug delivery and tissue engineering in coming decades?
Okay. So, one of the biggest challenge in, I think, all the domain is that a lot of people are working on the across the globe. So, uh, uh, there should be some kind of serendipity that you come out with a very unique formulation. That's all.
Yes.
Otherwise, a lot of people are working on that.
That's true.
Mm. That is also a challenge, and that is also a motivation, uh, because because a lot of people are working on that. You have got a lot of materials to read, and this is one of the advices that I give to everyone. It's not only a part of your PhD work, that is called literature review. If you are a scientist, you have to study a lot throughout your lifetime, and the literature review should not take a backseat ever. And if there are a lot of people who are working on that, you are getting a lot of ideas. So that is a beneficial aspect of not only drug delivery or tissue, for any of the domains. Um, when I started this part in 2014, uh, I can confidently say that the formulation I developed was completely new in India. Hardly anyone was working on that. Plus, when I say hardly, that means I remember one or two labs were there, or maybe a couple of more, but that was in single digit, completely single digit. I don't think even crossing five. Uh, and the material that I used, the core biomaterial that I used for my work, that was that was for the first time anywhere around the globe. It was reported for that particular formulation. So that was a novelty for me, and that came out because I read a lot, and not just to boast of myself, but as an advice also. Literature review will help you like anything.
It also
You should
keeps
not
you updated in your current
update it.
field.
Otherwise, you won't be knowing what you have to
Yeah.
do. If you don't know what you have to do, then where are you going to research? So that's the
Okay.
thing. And again, to mention this, sorry if I'm taking a lot of time.
No,
Uh,
sir, completely fine. We're enjoying.
I started working with a different material. I worked with that for 2 years. I did all sort of physico-chemical and mechanical studies with that. And I published my first research paper with that particular material. After that paper got published, I jumped into the material that was the part of my final thesis, and I switched on to material after my 2 years of work. Uh, and that became my novelty because that material was never mentioned for this particular formulation. So that's the power of study, doing a strong literature review.
So, sir, do you also believe that the research and teaching complements each other? Since you,
Yes,
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 staunch
yes.
believer of,
Uh,
because as per my experience, there were professor in DU. They are doing fantastic research worldwide, but when it comes to teaching,
yes,
they don't care about it.
exactly. Can I add one more story to that?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay, so in my first interview for teaching, when I was in my MTech, I was clear that I have to be a teacher.
Okay.
Uh, so because of certain reasons that I don't want to discuss here. Okay, but I want to be an academic researcher, not a co-researcher like in a research lab. That was clear. Um, when I appeared for my first interview for a teaching position, uh, so mostly the university has a system of a demo presentation, a demo class when you appear for a teaching position. So I was fresh out of my MTech. So everything that I did for my MTech research was very fresh in my mind. And when they asked for a demo presentation, I started explaining all the things that I did in my MTech. Uh, so the panel members were faculty members in that university. They listened very carefully. Uh, After the presentation, the head of the department at that point, he told a very beautiful thing, and I still it is as fresh as it was that at that point of time. He told that teaching is an art. So it was a very strong statement. Whatever you explained looks good in terms of research, but
Yes.
when you are giving a demo class, just keep in mind that the audience are the UG or PG students. The work that you described was at another level. It was not to let a UG student understand anything. So teaching is an art, uh, as a reply to your question.
Yes.
And yes, a person who is a great researcher may not be a good teacher. I understand.
Yes.
And a person who is a great teacher may not be a good researcher also. So in terms of good, so there is a lot of parameters.
Yes. And I think teaching again, it keeps you updated about your
Exactly.
area of expertise.
Exactly.
So that's
And
where
when you have
it
chosen a
helps.
profession of teaching, your first priority is to teach.
Yes.
So being an academic researcher, the first term is academic, the second term is researcher.
Yes. If you
And it's
cannot
your
convey your research, then there's
exactly
no point of doing
no
research.
point, no point.
Yes.
And if you cannot convey the basic concepts in a very easy way, to UG students, there's no point of being a very high profile researcher, I believe.
So, sir, I don't have any background of tissue engineering and
Okay.
drug delivery,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, like, what are the techniques or methodologies you employ in your laboratory? What are the
Okay.
popular fancy techniques
Right.
which you learn?
So when tissue engineering was started back in late 70s uh, by Professor Robert Langer in MIT, this field of tissue engineering has also got a very interesting story. I won't go with that, otherwise it will take a lot of time. So at that point, the techniques that were used to fabricate artificial tissues, they are still in use, but the motivation to start this domain of science, domain of interdisciplinary science, could not be fulfilled even after a lot of time passed. One of the reasons were the use of the techniques, because let's say freeze drying, that is lyophilization, or electrospinning, or solvent casting, they were good for very limited applications, but the final product coming out of these techniques lacked dimensional accuracy, and uh, the tissue level defect, because of some diseases, not going with the genetic malformation, uh, but suppose in case of fracture, so if there is a significant fracture, multiple fracture, suppose there is a fracture in tibia, for example. So if there are 10 people who get a fracture in tibia, all the fracture will have different dimensions, right? So an artificial bone graft coming from the conventional techniques will be very poor in going through the contours of those fractured area. So dimensional accuracy was one aspect that was keeping the fabricated tissues with conventional techniques away from the implantation purpose. And then scientists jumped into the technique of 3D printing. So 3D printing was devised for material science, not for biological sciences. But scientists, as per their core nature, they start manipulating the 3D printing devices, and they came out with the manipulation so that they can print the artificial tissues and organ. Uh, and after 3D printing started assisting in tissue engineering, even though currently we use a lot of conventional techniques like electrospinning and solvent casting, but tissue engineering has helped a lot to understand that aspect of dimensional accuracy. So that though still we have a very few organs or tissue that can be implanted, completely artificial organs that can be implanted with the help of bioprinting. But yeah, it's a still an open area. We have to know a lot about the basic physiology of the organs that we are targeting, because one of the major reasons of these bioprinted organs is still not coming very hopefully in clinics, in clinical translation, uh, is that we lack angiogenesis in these artificial tissues.
Okay.
And unless until there is a proper angiogenesis, proper flow of blood, there will be a lot of central necrosis. There will be necrosis in the center part of the tissue. So that is one of the challenges people are still trying to
And I
figure out.
think contamination is also
That was always there, even
yeah,
with the normal cell culture. So one of the
yeah,
biggest
normal
challenges in
cell culture.
developing maintaining cells is contamination, and that to mycoplasma.
Yes,
So
yes.
that contamination challenge is always there. Uh,
So,
but
I mean, do you need any specific setup where
yes, yes,
not a normal hood, right?
no, no, no.
Okay. So, what kind of setup it requires?
Uh, so recently, the bioprinters, the 3D bioprinters that have come up, they are small enough to be placed in a biosafety cabinet,
Okay.
so that the whole environment can be in a sterile frame. So
Okay.
that's all. That is one of the things in terms of infrastructure setup. So it's good. Uh, there are a lot of Indian companies also coming up with their own completely from scratch bioprinter.
So, sir, are there any patents in India
A lot.
regarding this? A lot. Okay.
I can name all the scientists in India who are working on tissue engineering.
Okay.
Because related to that area, so I know all of them working, and they have a lot of patents. But yes,
There is
so
Parvez Sheikh in IIT Delhi.
yes,
He's
yes,
also
yes,
working on
yes, yes, yes.
biomaterials.
He's an alumnus of IT Kanpur. He was working with
IIT.
Professor Ashwini Kumar. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So we are at our end stage of this session.
yeah, I
If
think
there is any questions anyone wants to ask directly, they can unmute themselves, or if there is any questions on live stream, anyone can put up.
I think all our participants are on live stream only. So
Okay. Yeah, one has raised a hand.
Uva
Yes,
has
you
raised
can
his
ask
hand.
Purva.
Yes.
You can unmute yourself.
After doing biomedical engineering in for bachelor's, how can we do tissue engineering or 3D printing after bachelor's?
Okay. Um, as I mentioned that I got this idea right in my MTech that because I was doing a MTech in both biotechnology and biomedical engineering, so there are a lot of things which are common to both these aspects. And if you want to pursue your masters and PhD, suppose in tissue engineering, so that is all related to the supervisor that you work with. If his or her research area is related to this, you will get exposure and your specialization with that. There's no other way. And particularly with biomedical engineering, so biomedical engineering has a lot of different domains. So if you want to work with biomedical imaging, that is also part of biomedical engineering. Tissue engineering is a part. Drug delivery, in fact, is a part of biomedical engineering in a lot of places. So in terms of background, uh, people from computer science background, electronics, electrical, they're also very welcome in biomedical engineering because they would deal with all kind of medical imaging and rehabilitation engineering and all kind of these things. People from pharmacy background do their PhD in biomedical engineering also. So it is a complete open field. And the specialization only depends on the research that you do in your master's and your PhD with your supervisor. That's all. I hope I answered this. Uva?
Yeah, correctly. Yeah, correctly. Actually, because we more study about the just equipments and instruments, not any other thing. So they don't. In our university, it's just about the ECG, MG, or like ventilators,
Right,
like that.
right, right.
Whenever I ask questions about tissue engineering or 3D printing, so they say that you will do that in like in your PhD. Right now, you focus on instrumentation, but I'm a
Yes,
bit more interested in like tissue engineering. Right.
right.
So
Mostly in all the undergraduate program in India with biomedical engineering, uh, it is the same thing that you mentioned. Uh, Tissue engineering or artificial organ or biomaterial is just a very small part. Uh, I think, if I'm not wrong, at many places these are not even a subject in BTech. So you will be getting this taste of tissue engineering and biomaterials when you will be doing your MTech. Yeah, you can proceed with that, obviously.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I see no comments here. Sir, if you could write your email ID in the chat box,
Sure.
if anyone wants to ask, they can email you. So my last question would be that what advice you would give to students and young researchers who are aspiring to enter into the field of drug delivery and tissue engineering? Top three
Okay.
advices.
Top three advice: read a lot. Again,
Yeah.
the your literature review will take you places. That's the
Yes.
core thing. Um, because unless until you know what you want to do, you won't be doing that.
Yes.
Second, again, because I've been witnessing this a lot over uh, social media platform and even personally. Uh, Keep away with this confirmation bias thing. Uh, it's a big responsibility to be a scientist. Believe me. Uh, Okay. Again, because I'm directly talking to the organizers here. I'm not talking to the people who are on live stream. If I may ask Satyarth, which is your favorite movie? Sorry, I use this
Yeah,
analogy a lot.
my favorite movie, sir. My name is Khan.
Okay. Do you know who the director was?
Karan Johar.
Who the scriptwriter was? Editor?
No.
No. Who were the actors in that?
Yes, Shah Rukh Khan was there and Kajol was there.
Yes. So in terms of actors, you may mention a lot of names, but
Yes.
in terms of the people who were the background of the this art, we may not know
Yes.
them. And because My Name is Khan is a very recent movie, uh, and you know the director, but normally when we watch a movie, we are only watching the actors on the screen. We hardly care about the team who has developed this art. And believe me, cinema is a very beautiful art and is a very tough art to perform. And it is a complete teamwork. But the art is made by a team of artists who we don't know or who we don't
Yes.
care about. And I think the role of a scientist is similar to those people who are at the background of that beautiful art. So you have got a huge responsibility. You may not be known to the public, but the work that you will be doing, uh, even if that is being translated 15, 20 years down the line, uh, you will get the satisfaction which will be unparalleled. So that is the beauty of science, and that is the responsibility and beauty of being a scientist. Uh, and if you somehow are planning to join the world of science, keep this in mind as my personal advice. It's a big responsibility and beautiful thing, and that's why you have to read a lot to be
Yes.
updated with the thing that you want to do, so that you can justify yourself.
Definitely. Sir. And I also think that anyone can do science. Like there is no this misconcept that only geniuses or only those
No, no,
who
no,
were top rankers can do science. It's just
never,
a matter of
never.
perseverance, hard work,
Exactly.
diligence.
Though it will be a very generalized statement, I think I don't know if many of you will uh, like this or not, but I don't think most of the scientists were topper in their school or colleges.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but they were hardworking.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I certainly believe that in science you have to be more of a hard worker than intelligent, because if you are a hard worker and you know that, you will come out of the troubles and you will be
Yes.
better at troubleshooting the things, because you believe in your hard work, you believe in the things that you understand, uh, that you go through. Maybe, I
Yes.
don't know, but
Yes.
yeah, hard work is something that you should keep always with you, if you're in science.
That's
So
true.
I
So
think
I think Satyat, I would ask like one last question that we ask
yeah.
to all
Sure.
our guests, and different guests respond differently as per uh, their, I would say, their understanding and what how they see the science and research. So what do you think, as per you, is one of the best discovery, could be like technique as well. One of them said PCR because she was a cloning expert. The
Yeah.
scientists used to work on clonings and bacteria and everything. So
Right.
we recently had like uh, a scientist from ICMR, and he used to work on leprosy. So
Okay.
so he said that like the discovery to understand, so NGS, and the discovery to see like how the genes are sequenced, because he said that he was from the era where he used to write the sequence and align the sequence in the notebook.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
thousand base pairs, like thousand base pairs in the notebook, like he used to align himself.
Right. Right.
And
So
one of our speakers said discovery of HCl
yes,
from
that's
his
true.
point. I don't
HCl.
know the name of that speaker, but
Okay.
discovery of HCl.
I think
So
I also don't remember the speaker, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah. But I remember that
I
he or
think it
she
was
said that. Yes,
Devjani. I think it was
I think.
Professor Devjani
Yeah,
Banerjee who said that HCL is the
Oh,
one that she
yeah.
says
That
that because
fascinated me a lot.
yes, that's
Yeah.
true. So like,
oh,
what as per you?
she's a great researcher. She works on lateral flow assays, biosensors.
Uh-huh. I see.
She's great.
So, sir, as per you, what do you think? What is
Hello.
your best discovery as per you?
Uh, yeah, there was a technical glitch. Am I
Uh,
audible now?
yes,
Yes,
you
sir.
are
You're
audible.
audible.
Yeah. Okay. So that also depends on the field of interest, because if you're interested in certain field, you will read a lot about that.
Yeah.
But yes, in present scenario, I would say I cite this example a lot. The work on indigenous CAR T cell therapy done by Dr. Rahul Purwar at IIT Bombay.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
And, I'm just
fantastic.
amazed, and it is a beautiful example
Yeah,
how you can bring down the cost if you are
yeah,
doing indigenous science.
yeah, yeah.
So a single shot of injection that cost around 4 crores of rupees uh, came down to 30 lakhs because
Yes,
of complete indigenous science. And it is
that's
not only
true.
about this cost cutting,
Yeah.
uh, because I've been teaching immunology a lot for last 12 years, and I've been very interested in this part of science. The the engineered receptor that he devised on the
Mm-hmm,
surface
mm-hmm,
of the T cell,
mm-hmm.
it is so unique that all the previously approved 6 CAR T cell therapies, this is the 7th one, and because the previously six approved were so costly, they were not available in India, because a single shot of 4 crore is hardly affordable in India.
Yeah, yeah.
The sequence of that protein is so unique that most of the adverse effects that were noted because of those CAR T cell therapies
Mm-hmm.
are completely minimized with this one.
Yeah, we see.
So that was one of the novelties in his work. And just see,
That's true.
let's in our society, you will hear a lot of people saying that India में science नहीं होता है. But this is one of the examples, beautiful examples. You can actually do that. It's not कि India में science नहीं होता है. And because you are a part of this very beautiful science communication platform, India में बहुत science होता है that you can
बहुत
propagate,
science
in
होता
fact.
है. Yes.
And that is
बहुत
what
science.
our goal
People
is
don't
to.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Recently, a company came out with an MRI machine, completely
Mhm.
indigenous again, that don't require a helium cooling system,
I
and
see.
that has brought down the cost to a lot. And technically, it is very beautiful thing that MRI machine is not requiring a helium cooling system. That means it is a complete technical genius thing coming out of that, because all the MRI machines throughout the world requires a cooling system made up of helium.
Yes.
See, the Indian company has done that. So we have a lot
That,
of examples.
that was really cool. So I actually had a very good friend in IIT Bombay in Rahul. I think he's still doing his PhD in
Oh,
final I think Ankit, yeah. So he's doing his PhD
okay.
with Professor
Rahul Purwar.
Purwar there. And also like recently like there was a PhD opening in our group, and like one of the student who was really experienced a lot, I mean even more than me I would say. And we had an like application from him, and my boss was asking that how about this, and I said like I would say he's doing much more better than what we are currently doing. So I think his research interest is way far more ahead than what we are doing. I mean what I am doing currently is pure
Correct.
molecular biology, like basic biology.
So that's not right. Again, how you perceive your science,
Yeah,
your work.
that's true,
So
that's true.
even many of us would know this, and we are on the same page that the name of an institution does push, but at last your work will push.
That's
That is the
true.
thing. If you are able
That's
to
true.
defend your work, and if you are able to defend your science, you
Mhm,
know
mhm.
your science.
Yeah.
That is the strongest part that will push you at any place.
Yes, I
Yeah.
completely agree. So most of the people in our lab, like we do Western blots a lot. So there are like many people who comes and tells us indirectly to our group that, hey, like you are 10 PhD students in your lab and you are doing just Western blot and nothing else. And we are like, dude, you know what? We are just doing Western blots and publishing in Science and Nature. Think if we start doing something else, then what we will do? I reply them positively like this, that come, you
Right,
also do
right.
Western gods, then maybe you can
Exactly,
publish
exactly,
Science and Nature with us.
exactly. So, yeah. So, the third point, uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as you mentioned, ki some kind of advice. Uh, always be logical with your explanation.
Mhm.
Science needs a lot of logic with correct explanation that you can defend.
Mm.
And one of the very famous quotes nowadays that India believes more in magic than logic. so, so when you want to understand nature and the things happening around us, you have to be very strong with the logic.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Completely agreed.
So I think we should
Anything
say
else?
thank you to sir.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. That ends
Thank
here.
you
And
so much, Ashwini sir. Like it was really great to have
good.
you.
Yes.
Like
Thank you so much.
I was very confident actually.
Yeah, I told Satya that maybe you can invite him. Like we had
Yeah.
never talked with him, and I think this is the correct time. He would also have some time right now because like universities are a bit on pause,
Yeah.
and I think like it's a good time to call like university professors and like young researchers, I would say, like who recently have done like PhD and things in India, like so they would know the current scenario, like what exactly is going
Yes.
on. So
No, but I really see a lot of change in last 10 years.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
scientists my age, uh, they have returned back and they're doing a lot of
Yes.
good science.
Yes.
Uh, though again, because many of the people in society are in that same mentality कि इंडिया में साइंस नहीं होता है. अब जो
Hmm.
हो रहा है, that will be visible 10 years down the line.
Yes,
लोग ठीक
that's
कर रहे हैं.
true. I think I think there are like many scientists now who are publishing, like not just publishing, but are really having good projects, like
Exactly.
something really new towards like if I see in NCBS now, then majority of the professors now at least have one project which is translational.
Exactly.
I whenever I go through the websites and like see like the new professors who have joined recently in IISc, NCBS, or also any university, like state universities are also doing like
Right.
fantastic
Yes. Yes. Yes.
nowadays.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think if
Because
we
if
get
someone is working on some domain for last 20 years,
yeah,
suppose, then he or she must be aware ki how those things can be translated.
yeah,
And this is a beautiful opportunity. Like after working for 15, 20 years in a particular domain, uh, you you are one of the best person to know how it can be translated. So
yeah. So I think like there was a field like so one of my friend he was working with Professor Karthik Sunagar since the day he
oh
joined the I think ISC, and like I think he told me that he was the first person to start in India to work on venomics. Like people used to work on venom,
oh
but nobody was working on
right.
evolutionary part of venomics and taking ahead into the drug target. So like he said that he
Yes.
was the
Yes.
one with Karthik who actually helped to set up like hold this Venomic Institute that I think is running currently and I think headed by Karthik
Right.
Sunagar. So like he's my very good friend and he says that like it was an 8 years of journey down, like I think eight or
Right.
nine. And then he said, I think 2 years back he told me eight, so I think 10 now. So at that time they were like preparing the draft for this Venomic Institute of India. Like it was almost accepted
Wow.
by and he told me that
Right.
he was like part of that journey. And I think we can actually Satya also contact him and we can also
Yeah.
get him on Psychom Synapse. Like he would share his
Yes,
entire
Definitely.
journey
that will be great. That will be great.
that how
Uh,
he
you
started
know,
this Venomic.
because you mentioned about venoms, one of the best-selling medicine for type 2 diabetes
Uh-huh.
has actually originated from Gila monster. It is a natural
Uh-huh.
protein found in Gila monster. It is a
Uh-huh.
reptile, a big reptile.
Okay.
So they are a GLP-1 agonist.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
first molecule hexanidin was actually extracted from Gila monster. So
Ah,
that's how nature gives us some of the
yeah,
beautiful products.
that's true.
And
Definitely.
venom research is actually has a lot of potential.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And because you also mentioned about the evolution
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
that research, a term just clicked. There's a beautiful aspect of medicine coming up, which is called evolutionary medicine.
Uh-huh. 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 I
Yeah,
see.
and most of the people who are working on that concept are presently targeting cancer and microbial resistance, antimicrobial resistance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Okay.
So
I see.
just to target one or two targets, why
Mm-hmm.
not study the complete evolution so that we can know how it is coming? And just few months back, there was a uh, post on Twitter which was about the concept that it was retweeted by Professor C.S. Pramesh, who was the director of Tata Memorial Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
Bombay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That cancer is being seen as an evolutionary concept. It's not a disease.
Yeah, that's true. That's
it's,
true, I would say.
it's a unique angle of looking at things.
Completely
So,
new angle.
yeah, evolutionary medicine is something very beautiful coming up.
Hmm, that's something interesting. I think, sir, we would like to invite you again next time, where like we would
Definitely.
like to talk about his topic more. Like how, like what was his PhD topic? Because I see that like when I was going through of is a little bit publications, I saw that like you were working on very unique molecule of drug delivery. I guess I think
Yes,
it was still I don't remember correctly, but next time maybe we would talk more about
sure.
on Pitocin
Thank
and
you so much,
how it
Dad. It will be very, yeah. I will be very thankful to you if I can come again
definitely I
to this
think
platform.
yeah
Yes, yes. So I think that with this, we would
yes
say thank you to sir for
yeah.
accepting our invitation.
Thank you so
And
much.
we had a
It
great
was
time,
too
sir.
generous. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Me too. Same here.
So,
Thank you.
see you,
So
sir.
we look forward. I think
Yeah,
for
definitely.
you again next time. I think when
Yes,
Satyat
yes.
would be traveling and everything. I think
Yeah.
after that we would do
In fact,
everything.
I miss. In fact, I missed meeting Satyarth last week. I
Yes,
told him that
Oh,
I
yes.
would come to
Yeah.
IGAB, but due to some circumstances, I
Yeah.
was not
Actually,
able to go
Sharda
there.
and IGIB is nearby only.
hmm,
So,
Yeah, it's.
but definitely, sir, we will meet. I mean, in
I
coming weeks
think
or maybe
I'll
next week.
I'll come to IGAB soon. Yeah,
Yes.
great.
sure,
We'll have chai pe chalcha.
definitely.
Invite me as well. I
Chai,
just finished the chai.
chai pe science.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
I think somebody from TIFR does that. I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. It's a definitely.
Yes,
It was
I
a
think,
team,
and
I think.
also yes, yes, and also we had the Professor MC Arunan long back, like 4 years back. We had MC Arunan,
Yes.
and he was talking fantastic about cube projects and everything. I think we can also contact Arunan sir again, and
Right.
we can also have him. Great. Okay. So, bye
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you, Dad.
Thanks
Thank you
to
so
our
Thank
much.
you.
audience
Thank you
as
so much.
well who joined us today.
Yes.
Like we had
Yes.
around like 80 to 90 registrations, and
Yeah.
I am sure that people really have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
Taking
next,
out their time on a Sunday.
yeah. So I think I would like to announce our upcoming speaker now in this event only. So next weekend on next Sunday we are having Professor Felix Bast
Oh,
on our
Yeah.
platform, and he would be there only for half an hour window. Like
Only
we
for
could
now.
try to catch his half an hour, but he would be here and he would share his stories and how he started his sounds communication and everything. So that would be really interesting. So just for our
yeah.
audience who are
Yeah.
watching us since 1 hour, yeah. Okay, then.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye
My
bye.
pleasure.